I am a local artist and designer. My obsession with fields started in junior high when my grandfather took my brother and I up in an airplane. I don't remember too much about the flight itself, but I remember when I saw on the ground. That's me in the sandals. Central Illinois is the flattest part of the country, second to Florida. And like Florida's coastline, the view outward is endless. There is a sea of crops out there. Some might see this flatness as boring, but I know that the space between us and the horizon is anything but dull. My carved paintings are less of a replicated image, but more of the act of painting and carving to represent the work and physical property of the fields. I start with an unsanded piece of poplar and immediately start placing paint across it. I like to think that the little splinters are rocks as they embed in the paint I put down. I tend to work on my paintings in groups. It takes many layers of paint to get an accurate representation of the land. One of my paintings has more than 40 layers of paint. The process of adding color is similar to the way farmers till, plant, harvest, rotate, and fertilize their fields year after year. This picture is taken from an open cockpit. It shows the boundary lines made by different crops or property lines. These lines are what inspire the carved space in my paintings. These boundary lines could be painted, but the world isn't flat. The lines of the earth are three-dimensional, and keeping these paintings in 2 dimensions would not accurately represent the story of the land that surrounds us. I place my lines between each color and let the tool be my guide. The course that the cutter takes is just as important as the line it makes. Over the years, lands change hands, new roads are built, crops are rotated, and the forces of Mother Nature are always at work. I represent this process to my carved paintings by filling and recarving through the layers of paint over and over again. The importance of the third dimension is crucial to telling the story. It's easy to overlook the small differences in height when everything is flat. When I introduce the third dimension in my paintings, I place an emphasis on small vertical changes. For example, the difference between the height of corn and soybean plants. The carved lines in my paintings, much like the colors I choose, are gross exaggerations of the fields and the space they inhabit. The colors are a result of the design side of my brain, analyzing hues and values and editing them until they are visually balanced. The patterns and lines we make on the ground are not unlike the patterns and lines that the earth creates naturally. Once I began to recognize these lines, I started seeing them everywhere. Where the cloud bottoms stop, where the sun and shade meet, or where the sidewalk meets the grass. I want my art to help others find the beauty that isn't just about the earth, it's about our day-to-day relationship with it. Besides the unique history that draws me to the fields, I am also in love with the patterns that the farmers make with their machinery as they zigzag across the earth. When in the plain, the earth below becomes a giant, huge grid. Corn is dense and tall, and the soy seems like a big, fluffy pillow. It's not. It's hard ground. We don't want to crush. Each time a crop renders a new shade of green or yellow, which I take those greens and yellows and I make them purple and orange, or lilac and olive, or coral and shell, all sorts of colors. These fields you see now are in the flight pattern for Willard Airport, allowing me to see them quite regularly. To me, they are some of the most visually interesting fields around. So many different crops and so many different colors of soil. Kind of purple this one. And the spaces between them. They're also planted in different patterns, tight columns, but widely spaced rows. I use these recurring themes in each of my watercolors, planting my own patterns and colors into the fields. Much like my carved paintings, I tend to work on these in groups. I find Groups of fields that live next to each other, miles and miles and miles, that have some same visual qualities and put them on different pieces of paper. I take their similar qualities and put them through my own abstract filter, making a series of work. I make art as a celebration of the land around us. The land impacts our community in so many different ways. These acts by so many different farmers create something so big and so powerful, and the lines left behind by the farmers and their machines are unintentional, and that's where I find beauty. Sometimes it's hard to slow down and look at the world differently, but you don't have to get in an airplane to see the world around you from a new perspective. You just need to take a step back, remind yourself to enjoy the view, take the long way home, or grab a different flavor of donut in the morning. And sometimes finding new perspective means seeing a sunset in a painting that's meant to be a field. And hopefully, I have planted a seed inside your head to look for something beautiful and wonderful in the second flattest place in the United States. This next part's totally shameless, just so everyone knows. This is a picture of a cookie from 6,000 feet above the ground. So if you guys love cookies and airplane art, I will be at the Maid Fest this Friday and Saturday with a lovely Kaya Tate of hopscotch cakes and confections. And thank you guys so much for listening to my story.